Hello and welcome to A Review to a Kill, the James Bond retrospective podcast where we rewatch every Bond from Connery to Craig to review and rank each one. I'm your host, Special Agent Matthew Sedgwick, and returning for this debrief is an agent rumored to have survived a fight with Chuck Norris.
Chris Carter. And yeah, I survived. I definitely didn't win.
Hey, surviving is a feat all on its own. Today we are reviewing Goldfinger, the third Bond outing, from Eon Productions, premiering at Leicester Square in London on the 17th of September, 1964, and at the Demille in New York on the 22nd of December, 1964. Produced by the foodie duo of Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, Sean Connery again returns.
Broccoli salt. I love me some broccoli salt.
They're good together when they're still good together.
Yeah.
Norman Wanstall won the 1965 Academy Award for Best Sound Editing, making Goldfinger the first Bond film to receive an Oscar. John Barry was nominated for the Grammy for Best Score for a Motion Picture, and Ken Adam was nominated for the BAFTA for Best British Art Direction, where he also won the award for Best British Art Direction, Black and White, for Dr. Strangelove. Made for $3 million, another film, another million on the budget, I guess. Seems to be the paradigm so far. The film earned over $125 million in the box office.
Well, I figure if you're making, what is that, almost 150% of your budget in the box office, they're going to keep giving you $1 million every time.
It seems to be more like 50 times the budget.
Yeah.
Richard Maibaum was actually penning on Her Majesty's Secret Service during From Russia with Love production to be the third film, but with location issues in Switzerland and Thunderball being tied up in the High Court, it meant that Goldfinger was chosen to be the third outing.
I didn't realize Thunderball had court issues.
Which we'll definitely get into much later. A little bit with Thunderball, but mostly with Never Say Never Again. Surprise.
Of course, with Never Say Never. Surprise.
Yeah, we will be doing those. From the first blast of the brass section, you immediately get the sense of a very refined and honed Bond theme. It's as suave and smooth as the man himself, while being just as bombastic as before.
Man, I love the opening scene in this movie. The music is banging, I gotta say.
It's very refined this time around. Bob Simmons is back as stunt coordinator.
Yay. I'm not that enthused.
Let's hope the last film inspired him to up the ante.
We'll see. We'll talk about it.
This is the last turn for Mr. Simmons' footage for the gun barrel sequence. The blood was closer to red than pink this time, and the circle, again, just half-sized itself to nothing, instead of revealing the pre-title sequence.
Yeah.
We open on a nice establishing pan over an area in Central America near the water with oil tankers and guards. Bond pops out of the water in scuba gear with a plastic seagull on his head.
Okay, so that whole scene took me out of any kind of operations training that I've had before.
We were both in the Army, by the way. I
yes,
just want to throw that out to our viewers.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Why don't you just stay under the water the whole time? Why?
You're in scuba gear.
Right. I couldn't understand the whole point.
What's up with the weird plastic seagull? And that's
why is that seagull just floating across the water? It's not a fucking duck.
It didn't. If you noticed, it just popped up out of the water at the same time his head did.
Yeah.
They even admitted that in a documentary I watched. So you're supposed to see the gull on the water, then to have Bond appear. But in execution, they appear at the same time, essentially. That's what I put in my notes. He throws the gull helmet away immediately at 100 miles an hour, still speeding up footage so much that it's janky looking, I see.
Yeah, the special effects are literally laughable at this point. I laughed out loud.
As if responding to that quip I just made, Peter did it again 2 seconds later. Bond gets ashore, then uses a gadget to shoot a grappling hook and rope over a wall so he can climb. A guard hears something and goes to investigate, but Bond is so quick, he's already climbed the rope and drops down on the guard in like the sped up style in seconds. Bond scurries to a giant tank and flips a hidden switch, revealing an internal compartment. The inside of this tank is immaculate and definitely a Ken Adam job. Right in the center of this secret swinging 60s pad is a bunch of barrels of nitroglycerin.
What's with the black velour wetsuit? And why is it perfectly dry?
It's real velour.
I know they were trying to be high tech and everything, but that was ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure that led to the tactical turtleneck outfit more in Live and Let Die, which Archer rips on all the time.
Yeah.
Bond places some plastique over the barrels and inserts a blasting cap attached to a timer. Exiting, he de-wetsuits, and somehow underneath is a tuxedo. And not only that, it's perfectly pressed.
Every button is in place. It is fucking immaculate. That dude is so sharp when he steps out of that wetsuit. I'm like, wow.
How did it get in there, and how is it not wrinkled? He sticks a flower in perfect condition into his lapel. And I just want to know, where the fuck was he keeping that flower?
Yeah, there's a couple of places he could have been hiding it.
He is a spy. He's used to smuggling things.
He's used to a little bit of smuggling.
He walks into a cabana-type lounge, and there is, of course, a belly dancer. I'm sure we've had, at this point, more belly dancers than Bond films.
Probably, considering there was nothing but belly dancers in the last one.
There was more than belly dancing in the last one. Come off my movie. James lights a cigarette and checks his watch just as we cut to an explosion. Beautifully shot, I might add. In the beach bar, everyone cheeses it, but Bond calmly walks to a man drinking at the bar, appearing equally as calm. Bond has helped to cripple a heroin smuggling operation, but the Latin agent warns him not to go back to his hotel, that they're watching him now. Bond says he's on a flight to Miami in an hour, but first, he has some business to attend to.
And of course, that business is getting laid. Because that's all Sean Connery does. Fight crime, get laid. Smack a little ass.
Save the world, get laid. He goes to the dressing room of the dancer that she had retreated to. This is Bonita, which is Spanish for beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making that up.
No, that's her name.
That's her name.
That's what they called her.
Played by Naja Regin. She is in the bath as he enters, throwing her a towel. Kissing, she makes him ditch his gun. And that's when our assassin pops out from behind the wardrobe. Now, Alf Joint is the stuntman in this fight with Bond. The original guy cast for the part was an actual cat burglar and was pinched the day before the shoot.
What?
You can't make this shit up, dude.
Is that for real? Huh?
No, yeah, I'm not kidding.
Totally
the cops nicked him
huh?
the day before the shoot. So because of Alfie's high cheekbones, the casting director thought he could convincingly play a Mexican. So Alfie sneaks up behind Bond with a slapjack, but Bond, being the open-eyed kisser that he is, sees him coming in the reflection of her eyes because she is equally as creepy about kissing.
And here's the other thing. It's been 3 movies. Every time this dude walks in the bathroom, he's getting jumped.
Check the fucking corners, man.
Why is he not checking his corners? I'm like,
why?
Why?
Don't check your perimeter at all.
It's super.
He has no situational awareness.
None.
Bond uses her as a meat shield.
Oh, I love that.
He lets Alfie knock her out for him. The fight is okay. Bob had them throw each other into stuff and break chairs against each other, but honestly, it's back to the slow, stiff, telegraph punches and grapples.
Bob's fight choreography is clunky.
Yeah, to say the least.
That's the only word I can use to describe it. It's clunky.
Well, in the last film, they planned a fight out. In this, he very obviously says, hey, throw some punches, and maybe do this. Here's a chair.
I think Bob's whole deal was he saw somebody do his job a little bit better last time, and he tried to up his game.
He definitely did. I mean, 100%. But he still doesn't really have, honestly, in my opinion, the skill.
He has 0 fight
or he would
skill.
choreograph his fights.
Right.
They hold each other in odd ways at times, and it's just not on par with the fight choreography from the last film, is what I wrote.
It's not. The last film's fight choreography was way better, more realistic, reminiscent of some fight choreography today.
Yeah, that last film, yeah, it was really good. Yeah, Peter Perkins, we miss you.
Already.
Bond flings Alfie across the room, who Looney Tunes foot shuffles into the bath. He does. Bond was actually slightly amused by this, with a blink and you'll miss it smirk that disappears as Bond realizes that the man is now next to his gun.
I noticed that. They probably cut it just before he started laughing.
I feel like he did that on purpose.
Really?
I felt like he was laughing at the man's buffoonery and then realized he was next to the gun and was like, oh shit, never mind. I thought it was definitely done on purpose. I thought it was great nuance. Alfie does go for his gun, and in a bit of quick thinking, Bond slaps an electric heater into the bathtub. Red lights flash and steam rises. Alfie screams in pain and dies. And the pain on this man's face was very real because the steam hose wrapped around his leg and gave him 3rd-degree burns.
Oh my God. Really?
That's not acting, baby.
I love it when a stunt goes wrong.
In an okay way.
In an okay way. Like, nobody died.
Bond grabs his gun and holster, saying, "Shocking." He shows disdain for the girl, dons his jacket, and exits to the title.
Shocking. I didn't even write that one down because it was, it was easy.
It's fair, I guess. Man, shit might shock you at the end of this.
I guess it was quippy, but I don't know. It just didn't strike me as,
I feel like that joke's going to come back at the end of this episode in 2 hours.
Probably.
Wow. Bob Simmons is back.
So, I really like the song. It's right there in your face. She's giving it to you. Goldfinger! With an AH at the end.
It's classic. I mean, I just randomly belt that shit.
Yeah, so do I sometimes.
Tonight, the night we're recording this, by the way, Shirley Bassey opened for the BAFTAs by singing Bond theme songs.
Tonight?
Yeah,
awesome.
That literally just happened.
I'm gonna have to look at that, check that video out.
I think No Time to Die won a BAFTA tonight.
Right on. That's good. I love that movie.
Title designer Robert Brownjohn, who's back, by the way, his sequence here features scenes from the first 3 films projected onto bikini-clad, gold-painted Margaret Nolan. It won a British Design and Art Direction Gold Award. This is the ultimate improvement on his projector idea in every way.
Oh my God. I wrote that in my notes. I was like, stuck with the silhouette, but slowed down, no dancing. It's better. The film inserts are classic.
It works. It actually works.
I know I was just raving about the music, but I noticed in my notes, after listening to the theme song, those lyrics were hilarious.
Yes.
By the way.
Still classic. Everything's
still
just
classic.
Cheesy and old.
It's just cheesy.
This improvement of his projector sequence really cements the silhouettes of the future, even if it isn't quite there itself. I'm not normally a fan of clips in your movie title. I was talking to you about this the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a sitcom thing to do, and I hated this projector idea itself last time, but it all works together here.
Oh, man, it works great here. It's way better. It's almost, I don't know, it's like he looked at the last one, he's like, oh, that's all wrong. And then he fixed it.
He learned from his mistakes. The projected images develop new meanings when feminine contours act as a secondary landscape. A golf ball traces a trajectory into Nolan's cleavage for the proverbial hole-in-one. Nolan's knees turn into hills a miniature Bond must navigate across, and Bond's Aston Martin DB5 makes its first appearance with its revolving license plate masking Nolan's mouth. Neon signs, lights, explosions, and fires flash over and around the actress, their inspiration drawn from pop art, modernism, and nightlife. Way better than names over a belly dancer.
I didn't know it was the same man. I was like, oh, they're trying to keep a theme, I guess. He just did it better. Yeah.
He's like, I can prove this will work.
Which is good. I'm glad he did.
I'm glad he came back and gave another swing at this, because he really did kind of set the standard for what Bond openings would become later when they're polished out and more like silhouetted.
Yes. Yeah.
But good on him.
Good on him.
Goldfinger, sung by Shirley Bassey. I bet we never hear of her again. Music by John Barry. Ken Adam is back after killing it with Dr. Strangelove. Ted Moore is back as the director of photography. Peter Hunt returning to edit. John Steers is back on special effects, written by Richard Maybaum and Paul Dane, and directed by Guy Hamilton. Now, Terrence Young had a pay dispute, so out with him and in with Guy Hamilton, who clubbed with Connery and worked in intelligence matters with Fleming during World War II.
That's cool.
Hamilton saw the jump from ordinary man to Superman in the gap between No and From Russia with Love, and went full in on that to have fun with the film, but knew he had to have super villains too. Oscar-winning British writer Paul Dane wanted to have fun with it as well, breaking away from the stiffer, slower style of Terrence Young. It was his idea to have a fun romp of an opening scene that's disconnected completely from the movie itself. Hamilton knew it was a ridiculous romp and just wanted people to laugh and have fun with it, in his own words.
Overall, I think it made the movie better to make it as over the top and kind of campy as it is.
It's different, you know? Like,
right.
It's like I was telling you, I feel like this movie is a combination of, like, the best things that made the two before it work, but also not afraid to take it in a different tone and style. It definitely is fun. It's not necessarily always silly, but they don't count silly out of that.
Right. They don't count silly out, and they're not afraid to be silly.
Seagull.
It established kind of the tone for a whole bunch of later Bond films.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did. It opened up Moore's entire career. We fade into a helicopter shot over Miami Beach. If you've ever played Vice City, you've seen this. All jokes aside, though, it's essentially a very long, very beautiful establishing pan over the city of Miami.
Welcome to Miami. And again, the soundtrack. Banging, just jumping. Already the music's got you going.
Hamilton's chops are already shining over Young here, in my opinion.
And I think it also kind of sets the whole tone for this movie as well. You know, that overhead shot flying into Miami. You're like, oh shit, about to be a party.
It's almost like a ride, like a roller coaster going in, you know, with the title song, with this. Yeah. Everything is just way more alive. This is the first time we have like someone singing the title sequence, for example.
Right, yep.
We close in over the Fontainebleau Hotel, a famous spot used in many films, including Scarface. Now, the shots done here were quick and with stand-ins to avoid crowding and timing issues. Michael Bozen stood in as Frobe, and Ignacio Almagro was Connery's double. The rest of it was filmed on a recreated set in Pinewood Studios. Fleming visited this set during these pool shoots at Pinewood. He passed away, though, a month before the release of this movie.
And that's a shame. He only got to see 2 movies, and only one of them was good.
Oh, that's so mean. One of them was all right. It was a C.
It was
plus or something.
C+. I mean, it was all right, but you know, he didn't get to see Goldfinger. He would have loved it.
He would have loved Goldfinger. Huh?
He would have.
He loved From Russia with Love.
He did.
For real though, this was a quick shoot at the hotel itself. They were just in and out, and you can tell that every shot after that actually has like Connery or Felix in the shot, or Frobe or anybody. They're just blue screened.
Right, they're just kind of...
and rotoscoped. And even for the most asinine, it's just like a conversation in front of a pool, but they're blue screening it. And it's because they just did not want to film with the actors actually there.
There, right, yeah. It could have been some licensing issues, or, you know, the hotel wanted.
It was the crowding at Istanbul that turned them off.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a full shoot. It was just like a full pool. They had everything. It was stacked full of extras.
Yeah.
And they probably just said, hey, we're filming a movie there, and everyone showed up.
Right.
They stocked this place with Olympians or something. Otto Schmidt flips 100 times off the high dive, and another guy spins a girl around on roller skates by her bloody arm.
There's a lot going on in this little bit
There's a lot going on. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It is. Everybody's beautiful. I mean, I suppose.
They're
it's
talented.
Miami.
They're crazy.
Right.
It's Miami.
It's Miami.
Who's got the bath salt? Felix stops perving on girls in the pool long enough to go find Bond, who's getting a rub down by a girl named Dink next to the pool. Like this? She asks. No, a little lower. You'll notice a lot of blue screen compositing in this scene, as I was saying, because of the aforementioned technique in shooting it. I understand why, but it's a lot of compositing for just a conversation. Felix Leiter returns, but out with Jack Lord and in with Cess Linder. Dink is played by the golden title girl, Margaret Nolan. Little tidbit there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the title girl is actually the one rubbing him down here.
Yeah. Also just throwing it out there, what the fuck happened to Felix? 2 movies ago, he was Jack Lord. This movie, he's some old dude. I don't even
remember. That Jamaican son.
He looks like he's 30 years older than James Bond.
We're supposed to just pretend he's looked like this the whole time, or something like the feathers in Jurassic Park 3.
There's no explanation, no kind of anything. Felix has always been an old man, but he was Jack Lord. Maybe that was his CIA disguise when he was in Jamaica. I can't figure it out, because I understand they're 2 different people. But fuck, they couldn't find an actor closer to Jack Lord's age?
Felix, this is Dink. Dink, say hi. Dink, say bye. Man talk. Smack.
Off to the start of the smacking in my notes.
I almost made that the poster. Felix is like looking at him so weird too.
You're like, man, you just smack women on the ass?
Connery's face in that still is so like smirky in real life, and she looks so miserable. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a screen cap up right now showing his hand on her ass, his face like a middle school boy's, Felix looking like a pleased voyeur, and her frowning at the edge of the frame.
Oh,
that was almost the Goldfinger poster for this episode. I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Felix says, you must be slipping, 007. They almost got you in the last movie. Bond says, yeah. Not as close as they were to you in Jamaica, but... Wait a tick. First off, that wasn't him. It was Jack Lord. And second off, they were never as close to Jack Lord and Noah as they were to Bond and From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
There was a muzzle against his temple.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, they even reference it's the same guy from Jamaica, but he aged. Like, I guess
He aged,
drinking.
man. It happens. It all comes on it when drinking's a bitch. Yeah. He
Yeah.
had a lot of red stripe and rum. He drank all of Coral's stash in memorial. He had a lot of white guilt.
Mm-hmm. A lot of white guilt.
Well, they got him killed, fuckers.
Right?
Sorry, I'm not forgiving that. Rip.
Rip Quarrel.
The CIA apparently delivers messages for MI6, and Felix tells Bond that he's here to check out Auric Goldfinger. Sounds like a French nail varnish, James quips. He's British, but doesn't sound like it. Big operator, world interests, all quite reputable. Owns one of the finest horse farms in the States. He's clean as far as the CIA is concerned.
Just a little tidbit of a note. Auric Goldfinger, his name is literally Goldfinger. Auric is Latin for gold.
I love it.
His Latin name is...
So that's why AU is gold on the table.
That's why gold is AU
you
on the
beautiful
periodic
bitch. It's
table.
the crystal flash bulb all over again.
There you go.
Felix points him out as he walks up to a card table.
He walks down the stairs like a fucking king, even before he gets to that card table. But he
walks like Mussolini.
He walks like Mussolini or a fat Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like a demigod, like a strong man.
The similarities are uncanny.
Auric Goldfinger, played by Gert Frobe, has been cleaning this guy Simmons out at Gin Rummy all week. Gert Frobe's agent, by the way, said he spoke perfect English, but all he really could do was mumble incomprehensibly in German. Honor Blackman and Sean Connery just kind of had to guess when he was done doing his lines to continue theirs. Michael Collins was very obviously called in to dub the Goldfinger part.
Ah. So the German guy, the actor of Goldfinger spoke no English and they dubbed his voice?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Michael Collins. So Simmons here is played by Austin Willis. Goldfinger asks him if he's ready for another game, and Simmons says, "Hell yeah, when you're 10 grand in the hole, you're ready for everything." I guess everyone is different.
And, like, how do you get 10 grand in the hole playing bridge? It's supposed to be a friendly game.
They're playing Gin Rummy.
Or Gin Rummy, sorry.
But still,
it's supposed to be a friendly game.
It's Elon Musk friendly.
No shit at 10 grand.
Goldfinger asks for his usual seat, blaming his tanning needs, and gets Simmons to move across the table from where he had been trying to sit.
Now, see, I gotta say, I would consider switching tables.
Well, he was smart to try and get that other spot, but it just didn't work. And he didn't put up any fight. He didn't protest.
He didn't protest. He might have suspected.
As they play, Bond scopes the situation out, and this is very obviously an outdoor set built inside. The sky is a flat, blue backdrop. Bond witnesses a very swift score from Goldfinger, to much chagrin from Simmons. Bond makes his way to Goldfinger's room, and to get in, he straight grabs the keys from a chambermaid, still attached and protesting. No stealth, no subterfuge. He just says, "Oh, you're very sweet." Dude, she's off to call the cops, or the manager at least.
Yeah, at least. Was it really such a different time back then? I mean, like, did men just get to do whatever the fuck they wanted?
Sean Connery did. Dude, watch the documentaries of these films. Bond girls that work with him, every time they're just like, God, he was just raw magnetism. He could do whatever he wanted to me. In Goldfinger's suite, we immediately hear Jill Masterson calling out the cards. She's got a radio transmitter and binoculars that can see a flea on the moon. This is how Goldfinger has been winning. Jill Masterson is famously portrayed here by Shirley Eaton, who would live on forever in early death rumors for a later scene.
The other thing that might have tipped me off is a suspicious hearing aid Goldfinger kept messing with.
He said he was listening to a music station on it.
Yeah.
Bond cuts the radio and introduces himself to the girl. She's paid to lounge in a bikini on the balcony all day, helping him cheat, and to be seen with him. Just seen? Just seen. Oh, good. Bond is adamant that ugly dude hasn't been inside her, or that was a deal breaker. He says, "You look much too," and then he looks like right at her tits and goes, "Nice to be in all this."
That's funny. And he seemed pretty adamant that if she was fucking Goldfinger, he wasn't going there.
No, he really was, and this comes back throughout the movie. Like,
yeah,
seriously, like Connery played this like that. Like, he hated this guy. He thought he was disgusting to the point to where if a girl had slept with him, he wouldn't have. And you could see it because he goes like, "Oh, good," each time. Like,
Yeah.
because I was planning on fucking you, and I really wouldn't have if he had.
Right?
It's crazy that they put that in
weird.
there.
It is kind of crazy they put that in there. I wonder if that was all Connery, though. Sometimes, I think he wrote some of his own lines. Sometimes.
He turns the radio back on and hits the mic a couple of times, causing a harsh noise in Goldfinger's ear. Bond tells Goldfinger the jig is up and to lose 15 grand or get reported to David Caruso and his sunglasses. Wow! The Miami police.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
No, I know who David Caruso is. And nobody takes sunglasses off like that, dude.
He puts them on. A few suave lines and a slow dissolve later, and we're in Bond's hotel room with Masterson. They have an immaculate room service spread next to their bed that looks like any table at a fancy restaurant, before panning to reveal the bed next to it.
So, Bond has more one-night stands than any super spy I know. It's like he meets a girl, they fuck. Period.
I mean, it's what you do. To be fair, Connery has that raw magnetism.
Yeah, he does.
After some fun time, Bond sees the bottle of Dom has lost its chill. Who needs it? He ignores her and just says, "My dear, there are some things that just aren't done, like drinking Dom Perignon 53 above a temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs."
Maybe you should reconsider your wine if you can only drink it cold. That's all I'm saying.
Bond uses Fahrenheit?
I don't... He wouldn't.
Maybe because he was in Florida and she was an American.
Maybe.
Oh, that Beatles comment aged well, by the way.
Yeah.
Super cool spy man is complaining about music in full grandpa mode while complaining about something that's now grandpa music.
Yeah, well, movies don't age necessarily well when they're trying to keep up with the times.
Rifling through the fridge for the bubbly, Bond is karate chopped by Oddjob from behind on the shoulder, which, as anyone from the 60s knew, meant you lose consciousness. Ask Kirk.
Judo chop.
I wanted to introduce him at the golf scene, but to tell this story, I'll knock it out. Oddjob is famously portrayed by Toshiyuki Harold Sakata, a Japanese wrestler from Hawaii, often billed as Tosh Tojo, among other monikers. Tosh Tojo was actually added to his credit at the end of this film.
That's how I knew him as. I didn't know his name was...
Harold Sakata?
Yeah, Harold Sakata.
He was the first Hawaiian to silver medal in the Olympics. So Guy Hamilton was literally watching wrestling when Harold Sakata came on, and as he was a heel, everyone booed, and he was just this short, stout, but big, muscly guy, and Guy Hamilton was just sold on this guy as his Oddjob immediately.
Oh, that's nice to know, because you couldn't have found a better Oddjob.
Sakata actually chopped Connery at the fridge. He didn't understand Hollywood punch pull.
Oh, he hit him, huh?
He put Connery to the floor. That's real pain on Connery's face. Maybe it's hammed up a little bit because he's still an actor, but Connery said that he still felt it in his shoulder from time to time.
I bet.
Like decades later.
You don't get karate chopped from a weightlifter and not feel it, especially if he didn't pull his punch.
No full reveal of the henchman yet, but a very distinct silhouette of a stout man with a bowler hat looms over an again unconscious and vulnerable Bond. I don't even know why he doesn't kill him. He just leaves him alive while he kills the girl. It's an odd job.
I guess so.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yes, I know. I get it. It's like, it's an odd job.
Bond wakes and groggily goes looking for Jill, whom he finds in the now iconic situation of being a true golden girl. She's off to talk about screwing old dudes with Blanche.
And also, she's probably one of the first victims in Bond's long list of... Oh, collateral.
Collateral damage?
Yes, a long list of collateral damage. Now, when she got covered in gold paint and everything, and dead girl, then that really sparked the rumor that that girl died for real. So much so that my own mother believed it and had me believing it for a long time until I did some research on it myself as a much older person. Like,
even though she keeps coming out in videos like, I'm alive.
Yeah, I'm alive. It didn't kill me.
I think she's still alive.
She might be.
I think she is. Bond goes to check the corpse and call Felix over. The girl's dead. Dink? Felix asks, surprised. No, Masterson. Man, this whole other girl. Dude, it's been hours. You got to keep up if you're going to be Felix.
Right? Like, Felix is thinking he's with the girl he was with 2 hours ago? Come on.
2 hours ago? Are you serious? This is James Bond. It's been 2 hours. He's been through 4 girls.
4, at least.
Fade to London. Cut to M's office. Bond exposits that she died of skin suffocation. It's been known to happen to cabaret dancers.
Not a real thing.
But it's cool as long as you leave a small patch on your back. This is such ridiculous logic, and it's all bullshit. He's absolutely right.
It's totally not a real thing.
But people be stupid and love to eat horse meds, and there was a conspiracy theory that she did actually die filming this, even though she is, yes, in my notes, yeah, she is still alive today. Bond is butthurt. Apparently that one dip into Jill's pool meant a lot to him, because he not only wants revenge for her, but openly flaunts that in front of him.
Yeah, well, you know, if I had just stuck my dick into something and then somebody killed her, I'd want revenge too.
Yeah, but Bond don't care. The bitch is dead.
Yeah, I guess.
M rightfully reels him in line and threatens to pull him and have 008 replace him. M dresses Bond down here. He interfered instead of observed, causing Goldfinger to abscond to Europe. And he should be in jail for his breaking and entering stunt, but thanks to M and Leiter, he got out. What do you know about gold? M asks. Well, I know it when I see it, Bond responds. This is such a short and funny answer, but the info brag already happened with the body paint bullshit.
Pretty much. And, like, I wrote in my notes that it seems like in the office here, Bond is reaching way above his pay grade.
He's all kinds of petulant.
Yes. Yeah.
M orders Bond back at 7 for dinner. Black tie affair.
Does he wear another suit? I'm like...
It's like cigar and brandy shit.
Right?
Well, what do you know about gold, Moneypenny? He asks, entering her office. She says the only gold she knows goes into wedding rings. We should really look into that sometime, he says. How about tonight? For dinner. She even offers to cook him a beautiful angel cake while taking his hat and throwing it onto the rack for him.
Moneypenny, 1 for 1. No problem.
M lets Moneypenny know that Bond is his dinner date and to back off.
Dad is listening again.
It's mine.
So the Moneypenny flirt this episode is super classy and very well done. I have to say, it is not cringy at all.
It's not as much as the last one, but it's nice. It's not creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
It's not. It's like two coworkers having a nice, honest flirt.
Quick fade to the dinner meeting. A representative from the British Office of Finance is expositing about banking and tracking the trading of jewels and gold and how gold is easier to smuggle because it can be melted down, unlike diamonds, for example. This representative is Colonel Smithers and is played by Richard Vernon. Smithers says, "Have a little more of this rather disappointing brandy." M asks, "What's the matter with it?" And Bond says, "I'd say it was a 30-year-old fine, indifferently blended, sir, with an overdose of bon bois." That's a little extra info brag for you after all. Goldfinger is a seemingly legitimate jeweler and thereby permitted to trade and refine gold legally around the world. Yet, his means of transporting his gold internationally remains unknown, and Bond's mission is to prove if Goldfinger is smuggling his gold illegally. Bond suggests that they officially meet socially and that he'll need some sort of bait to entice Goldfinger, and Smithers suggests a gold bar smelted by the Nazis.
Did it seem to you like the dudes at this table, I mean, like, was Goldfinger breaking any laws?
I mean, he could be.
I guess he could be, because I didn't get that impression from what they were saying at the table. For me, I got the impressions like, this dude's got all this gold. We don't know how he's moving it around the country.
For me, it's almost more like an IRS thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand why the banking and the finance people are in it. They're like, shit's not, numbers aren't adding up. He's, got numbers for this much gold, but like, we're only checking this much through customs. I can understand what's going on. Cross dissolved to the Q branch lab. Parking meters with fog machines, bulletproof vests that take auto rifle fire at close range, and more. The guy in the vest, by the way, was George Leach. He was a stuntman on Dr. No and Goldfinger, and more moving on. He's also the man under the table with a torch. You're going to understand what I mean about the man under the table with a torch later on. But he's that man.
I love this. This is the first official Q branch lab, and as usual, something is exploding in the background. This time it just happens to be a dude getting riddled with bullets. But it's there. You get the explosion, and he's a little bit on fire.
Bond enters and starts messing with stuff on the table until Q notices him and, annoyed, takes it back from him like he would a child and puts it back. Q, of course, here being again played by the incomparable Desmond Llewellyn. At rehearsal, Llewellyn would get up to greet Bond when he came into the lab, but Guy Hamilton says, No, you don't take any notice of this man, you don't like him. And Desmond says, well, I'm just a civil serviceman, this is James Bond. And Guy's like, no, he doesn't treat your gadgets with any respect at all. And so this set not only the tone for this movie, but the character interactions moving forward.
Yes.
Bond asks about his Bentley, and Q says they've retired it, but he's got something new instead. And this is why I call the first three a trilogy, because they were made as a trilogy. They really were. They connect all three with multiple references to events and locations from the other ones.
Yeah, they sure do.
After this, it does become far more episodic from film to film, with only slight, rare, and tongue-in-cheek references to continuity.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I disagreed with you in the first episode about Dr. No having all the tropes laid out to bear. This is where the stone rounds. We now have the silliness and the supervillains, the characters and stories have all played out in the ways that we will now come to expect.
This is true. Goldfinger is pretty establishing.
Bond gets his iconic Aston Martin DB5 with modifications. Now, pay attention, please. The windscreen is bulletproof, as are the side and rear windows. Revolving number plates, naturally, valid in every country. Magnetic tracker bug with smaller model that fits into the heel of Bond's shoe. Tracking screen on the dash for the bug. Smoke screen, oil slick, rear metal bulletproof screen, and left and right front wing machine guns. Also, one addition Q is particularly keen about. A button hidden in the shifter that activates a passenger ejector seat. You're joking, Bond says.
Joking.
I never joke about my work, 007. I really love how they're playing their characters and playing off of each other just so well here. It's very natural and authentic.
Mr. Llewellyn has a great rapport with pretty much every James Bond that's come through.
He really does. He almost looked at him like sons.
Yeah.
Two things. If all the glass is bulletproof, why the metal rear screen? Also, that plate revolver had 4 to 6 faces max, and none of them were valid in the USA. Ken Adam was a sports car freak, and our set god did the DB5 mods with special effects supervisor John Steers. So John and Ken debated bringing back the Bentley, but ultimately thought this car was sleek and something special. It was a prototype still, and nothing like it had been seen before. The silver bullet-like appearance had an appeal. So Aston Martin gave them the prototype model, by the way. This is their actual that's all they had, and they gave it to him. And they immediately cut a hole in the roof. As they're fairly within minutes of having it. Steers still giggles about that.
That's incredible. They immediately cut a hole in the roof.
He thinks it's hilarious. The bits and bobs were real here. Obviously, they couldn't attach real machine guns, but they had gas guns and real tack and oil slick release.
Yeah.
The tank for the oil slick had to be removed for the bulletproof shield shots and vice versa. And Guy Hamilton is the one who came up with the rotating license plate. And then he presumably tucked into some tea with his contribution pitched. The tire slasher was not on the car, however. That's all on fiberglass facades in pinewood. And the ejector seat was compressed air with a lightweight dummy, as there was no way to do that in real life without burning everyone.
Well, yeah, you can't put rockets in there. You can't put rockets in a car. On it, but not in it.
They also built stuff you don't see. Front and rear overriders for ramming. A hidden weapons cache for Bond underneath his seat, and the now famous to us Q-branch car phone in the driver's side door.
Yes, they were way ahead of their time.
Slow dissolve to a golf course with a beautiful white main building with golden trim. This golf course is simultaneously super British and very Goldfingery. I made that into an adjective.
Goldfingery.
Supposedly at Royal St. George's Sandwich in Kent, they actually used Stoke Poges Golf Club, which is a couple of miles from Pinewood in Buckinghamshire. It's since been seen in rom-coms such as Bridget Jones's Diary and became the interior of the Hamburg Hotel in a Brosnan Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh, nice.
So we'll actually be coming back here ourselves in the Brosnan era.
Oh, that's cool.
Goldfinger stops by the pro shop and asks his usual counterpart, Blacking, played by Victor Brooks, if he's ready for a round. Blacking asks if he'd rather play with this returning old member who has his handicap. Bond turns, and Oryx susses him out. I guess he had Oddjob spare him when killing the girl, even though they thought he was a rando? I don't know, reasons?
Reasons, I guess?
It makes no sense, honestly. Bond gets Hawker to caddy for him, and Bond suggests a shilling a hole. Now, Bond steps out of the shop and sees Oddjob in a valet uniform, complete with trademark bowler and carrying a set of clubs. The orchestra stinks, suggesting that Bond somehow recognizes the man that knocked him out from behind.
Maybe it's just an assumption.
You must forgive our job. He is a mute and a terrible caddy. So pay someone else, bro.
Right?
Golf is not yet the national game of Korea. Sakata is a Japanese descendant Hawaiian playing a Korean. Par for the course, I guess. No pun intended.
Right. No pun intended. Par for the course.
At the 16th hole, Goldfinger lets it known that he knows this meeting is more than chance. What's your game, Mr. Bond? He asks, lining up to putt. My game? Bond repeats, dropping the gold bar at his feet. Goldfinger looks at it the way I looked at anything with tits when I was 15, causing him to miss his putt.
I'm wondering, where the fuck did he have that gold bar?
Hawker pulled it out of his golf bag, and then when he was done with it, when he picked it up, he gave it back to Hawker, who wrapped it back up in the rag and put it back up in the golf bag. That poor bastard's not only carrying his clubs around in the hot sun, he's
carrying that fucking gold bar.
Carrying that gold bar. Get fucked, bitch.
Oh, poor bastard.
Starting the last 2 holes, all tied up, Goldfinger suggests upping the stakes to the bar of gold against 5,000 pounds. Bond swallows hard here because he knows that he has to go along with this, but was also told by M to bring that bar back or else. And he does realize he's kind of in the shit here, but has to go along with it.
Right, Bond's thinking, I can't afford to lose this gold bar.
So, side note, Connery fell in love with golf from shooting these scenes and was a fan for decades.
I thought it was just a golfer because he was Scottish.
Because, you're so fucking racist.
These are the guys who invented golf, so why would that be racist?
Goldfinger cuts into the rough. They all go looking for it. After a while, Oddjob slides a ball down his pant leg at the edge of the rough and calls for attention. Hawker complains that if that's his original ball, I'm Arnold Palmer, to which Bond says it isn't, because he's standing on it. Bond decides to let Goldfinger cheat and instead switch Goldfinger's Schlesinger 1 with a Schlesinger 7 that Bond found to fight fire with fire. So, after putting, Bond switches the balls whilst retrieving them from the hole. Hawker is that sidekick that's always overly excited and giddy for everything. He's the Burt Ward Robin of golf caddies. Did you switch him, sir?
Mm-hmm. Did you switch
then
him?
We've got him.
We've got
he says
him.
with the cheesiest grin. He's
got
like
him.
way happier than Bond is. I always hate sidekicks like that.
Yeah, little Weasley bastard.
Goldfinger almost notices the switch when his ball falls off the tee, but they wrap up the game, and score-wise, it looks like Goldfinger may have taken the pot. But wait, Bond notices something. This is a Schlesinger 7. You must have played the wrong bull in the 18th fairway, costing him the hole and the match. Add this 5K to the 15 earlier, and Bond has cost him 20,000 pounds so far. Hawker thinks this is a riot, by the way, as we fade to the front of the clubhouse as Goldfinger is getting ready to leave.
Goldfinger is pretty pissed off at this point. Like this total stranger to him has just fucked up his life for 20,000 pounds.
Is he a stranger? As Oddjob packs up the 1937 Rolls-Royce Phantom 3, Bond slips the bug tracker into the boot. Goldfinger comes out revealing he knew who he was. That's twice our paths have crossed. Let's leave it at that. I should have thought our first meeting would have convinced you. So it wasn't a rando.
Well, see, that's the thing. Why didn't it kill him?
Yeah. Bond plays it off like, oh, don't worry, I'll give you a rematch. Oh, both of us know perfectly well what I'm talking about, Mr. Bond, but I see that it's necessary to remind you. Goldfinger has Oddjob demonstrate his Hong Kong hat-throwing abilities. The bowler has a metal blade in the brim that decapitates a statue.
Come on, man. Who throws a shoe?
James gets his check, and Oddjob crushes a golf ball with his bare hands. Between his power demos and Goldfinger's constant warnings, he's been thoroughly made aware that he could be dead, and they're fine with him just walking away if he does so right now. So walk away. Let this guy smuggle some gold, bro.
I'm just trying to smuggle gold, bro.
The Rolls-Royce drives away, and Bond calmly walks to the DB5 and starts up the visual tracker on the bug that he planted. Fade to the Rolls-Royce being loaded onto a plane. Now, notice the license plate, AU1?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, if he's a rando, then why leave him alive if they were going to murder that girl? And if he was Bond and the real reason she did all that, and they murdered her with a plane, why did they leave him alive? There was no reason to leave him alive, and they have so many times. Personally slighted by that girl.
I guess.
Because Bond's his enemy, but damn it, she was supposed to be on his side.
Yeah. Well, she was hired to be on his side, so who knows?
But, people can be delusional about what their money buys in terms of companionship.
People are totally delusional. I mean, that's why they're strip clubs.
They're prostitutes and just bad relationships. So, parked nearby, Bond hears that the plane is going to Geneva. A naval officer waddles up saying he's got Bond on the next flight out to Geneva in half an hour. So, transition to Geneva, and you'll see Mont Salif, or the balcony of Geneva, shrouded in cloud. Oddjob winds the Rolls-Royce up the mountain roads, with the DB5 following miles behind with the aid of the tracker. As the road winds, a 1964 Ford Mustang convertible pulls up behind them, driving belligerently and honking incessantly.
Belligerently, erratically, all sorts of things, Lee.
Some blonde dame he takes notice of as she passes, causing him to smile and rev the engine after her before shifting back down and telling himself to calm down. Bond parks to spy on Goldfinger from higher up on the winding roads as Goldfinger buys some roadside oranges. I had to zoom in on this, by the way.
Oh, to see what he was buying?
Yeah. But even higher than Bond, the speedy dame has a sniper rifle. She fires, and the bullet hits at Bond's feet, causing him to take cover behind his really nice car. Dude, take the bullet.
Well, the car is bulletproof.
That car's too nice. Take the bullet, dude.
Take the bullet. How horrible of a sniper shot is she? Because she wasn't really shooting at James Bond, but wound up almost hitting him?
I know I usually act like I don't know what's going on in moments like these so I can reveal them later, but Oddjob smiles at her like they heard the shot, and no one else down there flinched, not even the other patrons.
Right.
But also, why would he smile at her? It's to fake us out, like, oh, she shot at Bond. Not that she was aiming at Goldfinger and is a horrible shot. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
So it doesn't make sense.
It
It's a bad. It's a bad rope-a-dope.
It is a bad rope-a-dope. It doesn't make any
It's
kind
cheap.
of sense.
Yeah. Goldfinger should be like, who the fuck is shooting? Get me out of here, you mute fuck. And Oddjob should be cheesing it. He doesn't even have a rag top for his part of the car.
No, he doesn't.
On that note, this is the first person ever to shoot at Bond and not get immediately shot back at. He's killed men for far less, lady.
He's killed a lot of people for far less.
The dame does, however, cheese it, but Bond is in the car. He instantly passes her and then toys with her on the road, annoying her and getting her to drive more and more erratically until out pops the tire shredders.
Straight Mach 5.
That's what it reminds me of, too. Go, Speed Racer, go. This thing shreds her car like a can opener, from wheel well to wheel well.
Yeah, it does. It fucks her car up.
He
bad.
does. Bad, dude. He runs up like, are you all right? Let me help you. A double blowout.
A double blowout,
Oh,
my
wow.
ass. Do you see the side of that car? It must be a...
He goes, it must be a defect of some kind. Dude, the side of the car looks like some AI's idea of the Grand Canyon, man.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? It must be a defect? I don't know, mister. Kinda looks like I hit something.
Dude, that really messed my my 5-year-old idea of what a double blowout was.
I bet. I bet.
I'm not kidding. She demands to be taken to town if he wants to help, blames him for not getting over enough, and doesn't care about his names or attempt at small talk. She demands her case. He cannot carry it for her because she knows it's a gun that she has to hide.
Right.
He knows it's a fucking gun before she even sees him with it. He looked at that long, short case and said, yep, I smell the gunpowder residue.
Yeah. I am like anybody recognizes a rifle.
That's a rifle case, Jesus. Dissolved to the interior of the DB5, and Bond asks the dame her name, and she replies, Soames. Tilly Soames. Bond makes a face, looking back at the case, displaying the initials TM. He asks her if she's here for hunting, as he had a case just like that one. She claims it's for her ice skates, and his face says her bullshit smells a mile away, and calls her out on there not being skatable ice around this time of year.
Bond is totally on to this chick being a shooter or something. Definitely not an assassin.
Immediately. Oh,
yeah, because he would have killed her if he thought that she was a professional or something. So he's more curious at this point than anything.
He's like, all right, let's see where this goes.
Right.
At the station, she gets a man to get her car and gets Bond to leave her to her own devices, as she says she'll get a hotel and can take care of herself. Well, don't forget to write, Bond says, and drives off. Bond follows the blip until he finds a mountain hiding his quarry. He climbs over the small peak with binoculars to see what's going on, looking down over a facility of some kind. Fade to black, and it's night at the same spot, but now Bond is in tactical black and has a backpack. Under cover of darkness, he sneaks down into the facility in a really tense moment with guards pacing close behind as he climbs for cover.
Yeah, so we're back in the black jumpsuits. Like, yes, starting out with a tactical black. I like it.
And Bond is in tactical black, baby. Looking through the window next to him, he conveniently spies Goldfinger's Chinese minions, taking apart his Rolls-Royce and melting it down as the entire car was cast in gold as part of his smuggling operation.
Pretty clever, but...
I still think that's clever, to this day.
Yeah, I kind of think it's clever, but you gotta understand cars. You gotta do all sorts of crazy underwork to that car if you're gonna make the whole fucking thing out of gold. Because it's going to weigh...
Don't ruin this for me.
Matthew, a normal car suspension couldn't support that much gold. You know what I'm saying? The car was gold.
Seagull. Seagull.
Seagull.
All of this is exposited by Goldfinger to Mr. Ling, played by Burt Kwok. He also tells Ling everything's going good with Operation Grand Slam as they pass underneath Bond. Bond retreats back up the hill into the brush, but hears a twig snap as a rifle passes by. A person, shrouded, head to toe in black, lays down to take a shot downhill, but Bond comes up from behind her and jumps on her. This causes the rifle to hit a tripwire, setting off a perimeter alarm.
Yeah, so everything would have been fine if Bond had just minded his own business.
Yeah, she could have taken care of this for us. Jesus.
Right, the movie would be over.
This is a story about Bond fucking up these two sisters' lives.
Yeah.
In their plans for revenge and getting them both killed. Spoiler. It's Tilly Soames.
Right.
She wants Goldfinger dead. He killed her sister. Dead sister? TM. You must be Jill Masterson's sister.
Surprise reveal. They don't even look like sisters.
What a leap, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of a leap. There's a whole lot of things wrong with that whole exposition there because why didn't James Bond say, yeah, I was with her when she died?
Oh, would you? No, no, not ixnay, bro, ixnay. No. Shh. No.
She doesn't need to know that.
She doesn't need to know that shit. That's open a can of worms. She was shooting at Goldfinger on the road, but she's a lousy shot. The guards around here aren't, he says, and they run back to his car to find the minions next to it. Bond rams a minion's head into the bumper of his 1956 Mercedes-Benz 190. Bond and Tilly Masterson pin the pedal while minions give chase in the 256 Mercedes 190s. The minions fire machine guns from the windows. Bond retaliates with a smokescreen, causing the first car to slam into a tree.
And that's so funny that she thinks the smoke is cute.
This is a really funny blink and you'll miss it moment. While that car, by the way, is careening through the smoke to the tree, the guy in the back seat jumps up for the wheel real quick. Like, how the fuck is that helping Larry?
Right? You're like, what are you doing?
No one can see. Bond oil slicks the second car, which slides off a cliff and immediately explodes before hitting anything. Great fireball, though. Shot beautifully. Give the director of photography an award. Oh yeah, they did. The car goes all the way down the mountain into the building. Bond hits a trench in the road and takes cover behind his door to fire at the minions and allow Tilly to escape. Not the car, James. It's not worth it. Yeah, by the way, the inside upholstery is not bulletproof. Oddjob shows up in a 1959 Mercedes-Benz 220 SE and quickly tosses his hat, without hesitation, killing the other Masterson sister coldly and unceremoniously in the dark woods to no reaction other than James's. They just straight cold killed
anybody around James Bond.
These two sisters gone. Like, their parents are devastated. That's the end of their breed. They take Bond hostage, but have him drive his own car back down the mountain with a minion in the passenger side with a gun. This goes about how you'd expect. After an old lady hand operates the vehicle gate, Bond revs and breaks from the pack, hitting the red button and ejecting the minion.
He's been waiting to use that since he was told about it.
You know it. He was like, I don't care what happens if someone's getting fucking ejected.
Right?
If Tilly Masterson lived,
right?
She would have been ejected.
Good chance.
That's for shooting at me on the hills, bitch. Bond drives for the gate, but the old lady is in front of it with a machine gun, unloading into his windscreen. Bond turns and flees through the facility. He fast and furiouses his way around as the M190 Scooby-Doo's around in different directions after him. And I'm not lying. This actually happened, by the way. And it's sped up, too. So play that yakety sax, Benny.
It was funny.
Bond was, like, zooming through, taking corners tight. They had the sound effects nice. It really did feel like kind of like watching, like, Fast and the Furious. And then it did. It cut to the goons in the M190, and they were, like, Scooby-Dooing different directions. It's like, yeah, Bond's cool and they're stupid. I get it. But damn, that was blunt. Bond sees headlights in an alley ahead of him. He fires his headlight machine guns and hits nothing. He gets nervous and swerves into a building, with brick collapsing onto him and the car. Bond unconscious inside as Oddjob smiles at the mirror.
The old mirror in the hallway trick.
Gets him every time.
I don't even know how they set that up.
Just had it.
I mean, like, why would they set that up?
Conveniently.
That's just convenient.
I have no idea. That I wondered, because the shape and the placement of it, and that I did wonder.
Right, like, were they planning for somebody to be racing through this tunnel?
The way he smiles at it, like, yeah, that's what it was there for.
Like, oh, my mirror idea worked.
I'm going to get a pay raise. Quick fade to Bond, awakening, strapped to a gold table with a motherfucking laser over him. Good evening, 007. Goldfinger enters. Goldfinger introduces his laser that cuts through metal and gives a nice monologue about gold that will inspire Goldmember decades later.
Goldmember.
Goes off about gold. I love gold. That's basically what he was saying.
Yes. This is the iconic death trap of James Bond. It doesn't get any better than this one. I mean, there's plenty of other death traps, but this is the one.
It's iconic.
It is totally iconic. The one that set it up for everybody. No man wants his junk laser cut. You forgot to mention that he is totally spread eagle strapped to this table.
It goes to the junk first.
It goes straight through the junk.
They're going to bifurcate him. This set is empty, but the space isn't huge, and it feels like every sci-fi small lab of the 60s. Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
The famous line, forcing Bond to choose his next witticism more carefully, as it may be his last. Point goes to Goldfinger, by the way, but the line is there to throw the audience off the fact that this is a protracted attempt to kill Bond. It is.
Right, but here's the thing, right? If you're gonna kill him, you had a couple of opportunities already. Just saying.
Bond says they'll send 008, and 008 knows about Operation Grand Slam. Goldfinger cuts the beam. He can't take the risk of another agent loose if he is that compromised. And it seems Bond is worth more as a prisoner, so they trank him and we fade to black. They actually tried a real laser under lights, but then they had to make this fake apparatus with a post-composited beam because the lights were making the actual laser not visible to the camera.
Oh, that would do it. It's really amazing that they went to the lengths of trying to have real honest-to-godness laser technology in a movie in the 60s. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Like, laser technology was still pretty fucking new back then.
They were trying to do a lot of this for real.
Yes.
The table was pre-cut and then soldered and refinished to look like gold, with a dude underneath with an acetylene torch remelting the table. That's that guy I told you about earlier, the dude under the table.
Kudos to the guy under the table, because Sean Connery, like, I've watched interviews and a couple of documentaries about this, that dude was sweating for real.
Well, being under the table, he couldn't see what he was doing, so let's just say, in his own words, it came awful close.
It came awful close. Could you imagine, dude?
Oh, God, I don't want to.
I would definitely be trying to watch. It's like, okay, now you need to put a mirror up there out of frame so I can see what the fuck he's doing so I can yell cut.
So I can yell cut. He's 3 feet away, cut.
Cut.
Fade into a waking Bond for the millionth time in 3 movies. And I think this is the first time we see Bond with stubble. Maybe for the last time, until Craig.
Dalton?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But damn, how long was he drugged?
It looked like for days?
Bond wakes up to a blonde woman staring at him. Who are you? My name is Pussy Galore. I must be dreaming.
Pussy Galore.
That's her name, Pussy Galore. No shame.
Can you believe the shit they got away with back in the day? Pussy Galore.
My name is A Lot of Vagina.
A Lot of Vagina.
So A Lot of Vagina, famously portrayed here by Honor Blackman. Guy wanted Blackman from the start. She was ending a stint on the Avengers and knew judo. She also thinks that no one else could have played the part, so okay. There's that. But she had real chemistry with Connery, as she thinks he is without doubt the sexiest man she ever met. He is a natural authority, charisma. He's very virile. Yeah, they fucked.
Yeah, if those were her comments, I'm going to definitely say they fucked. Just going to say they fucked.
IRL, they fucked.
Yeah. Just going to say that. I'm throwing that out.
Just saying, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Pussy tells Bond that he's in Goldfinger's Lockheed Jetstar heading for Baltimore. Bond orders a martini, shaken, not stirred.
Definitely not made out of gold, by the way.
to Miley, who is playing the stewardess. The bellhop gave him one in From Russia with Love, but this is the first time he actually orders it on screen. And Miley here is actually played by Mei Ling.
So they really made a stretch with her name. I see.
Yeah, they weren't very creative with that.
Yeah, nah. Man, the past was the worst.
I can guarantee you they were trying to say her name, not really change it. They just didn't. They just wrote like their bastardized Anglo version. He asks what Pussy does, and she reveals she's Goldfinger's private pilot. How private? James is serious about not fucking anything Goldfinger has.
This is like the face he makes. Are you fucking Goldfinger?
He's making more sure that they haven't fucked Goldfinger than they're over 18.
Or about his mission. He's more concerned about that than the mission at hand.
No, for real. Like, am I going to live? Am I going to die? No. That fat pig hasn't fucked you, has he?
Fuck that fat fucker.
Greasy piece of shit.
Greasy golden piece of shit.
I saw Cheeto fall out of his armpit. He hates this guy, and I think this is how you know it.
Yeah, totally.
Like, this is like Bond genuinely, like, first, like, I don't know, hating a guy. Like, he's disgusted by him.
He's completely disgusted. Yeah. He doesn't do emotionality with his villains very often in the movies, but this one, he was. He's a little
He usually
emotional.
plays them cold and detached, like he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't even want to give them that.
Yeah.
So Pussy says she's a damn good pilot and leave it at that. And she says this with defensive anger.
Pussy is not taking any of James Bond's shit.
No. God, no.
No.
Bond tries to get info from Pussy, but she ignores him. You can turn off the charm. I'm immune. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll get to that scene later. Yeah, but no, she's not taking any shit. She's clearly a character who has taken plenty of shit from men and is done taking shit.
What they did here is they took characters from the old films and they tweaked them a little bit. They gave them the old J.J. Abrams Star Trek treatment. They gave them overdrive. So Red Grant, the cold psycho killer who actually likes killing, who didn't speak most of the movie, is now Oddjob, who's completely mute and is like, a super villain himself.
Super ruthless villain killer.
With the throwing thing. And, Tatiana Romanov, this Bond girl that he seduces and she comes to his side and actually helps, becomes Pussy Galore, who's much more headstrong and less doe-eyed, but also at the same time way more forced and unearned because she comes in so late and just goes immediately from fuck you to, okay, I'll do it. They spent an entire movie making Romanov fall in love with him. It happens because she comes in so late, almost just way too quickly with Pussy.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially because of how standoffish she is. It's like more ground to cover. So transition to an unrelated child's model of a plane waving up and down in front of a blue backdrop with cotton balls around. And then cut back to Pussy's cockpit. They're going to land soon. Bond asks Miley to freshen up. Do they have his bags?
He asks for his attaché case, is what he does.
Yeah. Well, she hands him his suitcase, believe it or not. Right. She actually gives his shit to him. But they did go through it because he asked for his Q branch attaché, but she just says, attaché damaged when examined.
Yeah, because the tear gas canister went off in someone's fucking face. I was about to say,
you're so smart, dude. Yeah, you're so smart. As in, it blew up in someone's face. Attaché damaged when examined. I love that. If you just, catch it, then you know. Right. You know what I mean? It blew up in someone's face. I love that.
Some poor bastard.
That's such a smart little line.
It is. It is. That's good writing. Clever writing.
That is clever writing. I will bow down to that because of the shit that I have. I give shit when it's earned, and I give credit when it's due. Bond spots the light difference in spy holes and covers the clock with his jacket, covers the two-way mirror with his suitcase, and then activates and slides the tiny Homer into his shoe.
Why does he have to take it out of his razor and put it in his shoe? Why not just put the transmitter in the shoe? If you got a secret compartment in your shoe for the transmitter...
Just keep it in there at all times, and then you wouldn't have had it separated from you.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
I get you.
That's all I'm saying. And what's up with the two peepholes? How many peepholes do you need to spy on a person on a plane? Are you anticipating having to watch somebody who's smart enough to realize there's a peephole and then need a second peephole?
Hey, we have mirrors and tunnels.
You're right. You're right. They have mirrors and tunnels. Who knows why these
Man, that attaché getting damaged when examined line was so smart, wasn't it?
It was.
Anyways. I've neglected to mention that other than Oddjob, everyone is wearing gold sashes or gold vests or full gold outfits. The plane is decorated with gold fixtures everywhere. He loves gold.
Does it sound like somebody we know that's alive today? I don't know.
They went full in on the theme, and it never lets down. And I'm sorry, but I can't keep mentioning it. So like, just trust that like everything's gold from now on. Okay.
Is gold.
I'm not gonna keep mentioning it.
This movie had yellow tones in the cinematography. A lot of this movie is toned gold.
Almost every scene was hand-picked to fit with the theme. Like, these are places he would go, and like, even his farm, like, the ambient lighting is fucking golden because they would shoot at, like, perfect times with the sun.
Yeah. Gold.
He loves gold. They keep showing that toy plane and then transition back inside the plane that Bond is on for some reason. But now he's in a nice bloody suit.
Oh, the special effects in this one. I gotta say.
A gray and white Glencheck tropical weight 3-piece suit made by Anthony Sinclair. I looked this shit up because
it's a sharp ass suit. It is.
This suit was the first to give me pause.
Yeah, it is a sharp ass suit. He looks very, very good.
I haven't covered the suits. I've been like, they're nice and I like them, you know. And I notice when he's wearing something shitty. But like, this is the first time I'm looking up that fucking suit. This plane's covered in gold, but Connery is the one that looks like $1 million here.
Oh, absolutely.
Pussy puts a Smith & Wesson 45 on Bond, which he foreshadows would put a hole in the plane and depressurize it, sucking them both into outer space forever. James Bond, spy, astrophysicist, Renaissance man.
Astrophysicist. I gotta say.
He said sucking them both into outer space forever.
Right, yeah, I know. That's what he
As
said.
in, they're high enough to go into outer space and not come back down. Dude, you're in a fucking Lockheed. Transition to M, getting a call from Leiter. Leiter says Bond's Homer went off. They refueled in Baltimore and are heading for Kentucky. Pussy Galore has a stunt pilot women's circus, and they park in her hangar. Now, Oddjob takes Bond in a 1964 Ford Country Squire to Oric Stud Farms, and they put him in a stone cell.
Oric Stud Farms.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's Oric. I love it.
Meanwhile, Felix sits in a 1964 Ford Thunderbird in a Kentucky Fried Chicken parking lot with a giant fucking Colonel Sanders head keyed into frame over him.
So, do you think this was the first product placement?
For Bond. The way they keyed Colonel Sanders' stupid face into the frame like they were paid to do it, yes.
Yeah.
It's product placement. Especially because Felix spends like 3 days at this KFC. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Felix stupidly says Bond will call him if he needs him. Like, that would happen if he was captured or killed.
Right. I don't understand.
It's fine. He doesn't need us.
He's fine. He doesn't need us.
Felix doesn't do shit this movie.
That's Bond's whole cocky attitude, though, because he never calls for help when he really legitimately needs it sometimes.
Strong men. You're stronger when you ask for help.
There you are.
Reach out and touch someone. Inappropriately. Sorry. Kish tells Goldfinger his 5:30 with the gangsters is here. Now, Kish is played by Michael Millinger, but he's not really important until later. The star here is Goldfinger's rumpus room, another Ken Adam masterpiece of set design, constantly exploring unique geometry while looking rich, classy, and functional.
I gotta say, the sets on this were pretty fucking good.
I love you, Ken Adam. You're a god.
Yeah, I liked all the sets.
We missed you in From Russia, but we understand Dr. Strangelove needed to be made. Kind of continuing, though, with that universal theme of the office bedroom. The regional gangsters want to know what's up here and where's the $1 million he owes them all in gold. And he says they can have their $1 million today or $10 million tomorrow when his bank opens. An astute gangster points out that tomorrow is Sunday, and Goldfinger hits a switch, converting his billiard table into a control console. He seals up the room and shows a map of Fort Knox. The floor opens and a model rises. Lights come down.
So, Goldfinger's place is just fucking packed with secret compartments and this giant ass fucking model of his whole plan.
You need a secret compartment to open the control panel to undo the secret compartments.
Yeah, his whole living room is a secret compartment.
Goldfinger's like, man's fired rockets and gone to the bottom of the ocean, so therefore I should knock off Fort Knox. That's essentially what he says.
I really want to say his plan is kind of ingenious, you know? Radiate.
Yeah, but he's not telling them his plan. They think he's going to steal shit.
Oh, right. They think he's just going to steal gold.
Yes.
Which is stupid.
And he knows that. It would never work. And Bond knows that. So, cut to Bond, who's pacing in his cell. He waves and winks at the guard each time he comes back to the door. And then at one point, he slides down to the bottom of the door out of sight. And the guard opens the door to go look for him like he suddenly disappeared or something.
Right?
Dude,
like,
what?
What the fuck? Like, why would you...
How did that work?
Right? How did that work? How did you fall for that shit? Like...
Why did you open the door? He's just there. And there's a window on the door, right?
Right.
But Bond somehow got above the door unseen, even though he went underneath the window.
Right. He's doing the great two-wall brace. What do they call that in climbing? A chimney brace?
He falls on the minion and gets his gun, though, while escaping. So there's that.
Like, that window is at eye level, so that's at least 5 feet, 6 feet up, right?
You're going to see some part of me, because I have to brace with at least 2 limbs.
That's what I'm saying. That means he would have to jump above the window and brace
then
there.
You'd see me jump over through the window.
Well, not if you were on the side. But what I'm saying is, like, you'd have to jump straight up and then brace on either side of the window.
How are you not going to hear that?
Right. Like, how are you not going to hear that or see something?
It's insane. This entire scene is insane and kind of stupid, honestly.
Yeah.
This movie's filled with a lot of brilliance and a lot of stupid shit. It's a very weird mixed bag.
It is a very weird mixed bag.
But it makes it very fun.
It does. I mean, okay, so that's the whole point, right? The movie is fun. It's completely fun.
So Bond sneaks under the model and spies on the meeting, learning that Goldfinger is going to gas Fort Knox soldiers with a nerve gas called Delta 9. Really? Delta 9, huh? Okay, so get them so high they take naps? I got you.
So go ahead and point out what Delta 9 is, Matthew.
It's THC Delta 9. It's the psychoactive substance in marijuana that gets you high. There's no nerve gas called Delta 9. I honestly believe that was a writer being cheeky and taking the piss because he didn't think it. Because especially back then, with information like that just starting to come out, unless you were a hardcore pothead, you were never going to know.
Right.
In fact, most people would never noticed.
Right. Most people would have not noticed and still won't notice unless they listen to our cast.
Exactly.
It might be because this is the 60s and counterculture was prevalent in Hollywood.
It's very...
So there's a possibility, especially with, people like Timothy Leary and The Day and everything, some serious research going on.
Tune in, baby.
Yeah. All right. Delta 9.
So of all the gangsters, one named Solo wants out, if you couldn't tell by his name. He'll take his million and leave. Solo is played here by Martin Benson. Now, Bond writes a note to the CIA with the whole rundown and wraps it around his Homer device. Pussy takes his feet out from underneath him and the gun from his pockets, leading him away. Meanwhile, the gangsters get mass gassed as lights flash, letting us know that it's a dangerous event. You ever notice it's like just flash some lights?
Yeah, flashing lights, dangerous. But here's the funny part. Like, after Goldfinger takes that one gangster out, the mobsters are just in there, and they're just, like, playing with the model like fucking 2-year-olds, like, driving the cars on the street and everything. Did you notice that? Like, they're just hanging out, playing with the model, chit-chat.
Well, here's the thing. He immediately kills them within seconds. There is no reason to separate him, put his gold in a car, have it crushed, and then melt the dude in the car out of his gold later.
Yeah, no. There's no reason to do that.
Just immediately kill them.
Yeah.
They did that because they couldn't think of a way to get Goldfinger out of the room without it being suspicious.
Yes, I realize that. Or he just needed a legit reason to get out of the room.
He planned on it.
Right.
Just like the mirror.
Just like the mirror.
Hard cut to outside as a minion loads gold bars into the boot of a 1964 Lincoln Continental. And seeing that this movie was made in 1964, this is a brand new car.
Brand new Lincoln.
Mr. Solo is being taken in the car by Oddjob to the airport with his buyout. Bond and Pussy walk up and Bond slips the note-wrapped homing device into Sola's pocket for Felix to fetch.
Reasonable.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Yeah.
In his position in a prison cell, like, what else can you do? The car drives out of frame, and Pussy says, I found him under the model. Bond smirks. Operation Grand Slam. I did enjoy your briefing. But Goldfinger smirks. So did I. And walks off, chuckling to himself. Point again to Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger was pretty smart, pretty sharp, smarmy.
He's witty, yeah. He's constantly, like, getting one up on the witticisms here, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Hard cut to the Lincoln being driven through town, and again to Leiter and Johnny, played by Peter Cranwell. Now, these two have been sitting in a KFC parking lot for way too long, and Leiter's coming back out in this shot again with more.
The chicken in his mouth.
That's all you do in this movie.
These guys are like two bumbling police detectives.
Dude, it's a joke in this movie. This is Felix.
Yeah.
I can't believe they don't have fucking funny music, like, as he comes out with chicken in his mouth.
This is where 007's rep with women gets him in trouble. Because when they see him, you know, after Goldfinger tells Pussy to escort him around and yada, 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 they see him with Pussy, they're like, he's fine. Just another dame. and he clearly needs to be rescued. But, you know, just because he's with a woman, that's his rep. Getting him in trouble.
Felix jogs his fat, slow ass to the T-Bird, and they give chase.
Felix jogs his fat, slow ass. His fat, slow, old ass. Let's not forget.
Oddjob passes the airport and shoots Solo, still in the back of the car. Oddjob is like Grant. He kills with either indifference or pleasure.
Yeah.
Oddjob drives the car to the landfill, and a crane claw arm lifts the Lincoln into a compactor, crushing it into a small cube and destroying it.
I gotta say, as a young person, when I saw this movie, that's the first time I had ever seen a car get crushed. And the fact that there was somebody in it, I was like, oh my God, that is the perfect way to dispose of a bottle. How come people aren't doing this all the time?
Gone in 60 Seconds did that car crushing thing real well.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good.
The cube gets craned into the back of a 1964 Ford Ranchero that Oddjob drives off in. The signal dies for Felix. All they can do is drive to the stud farm. So back at the farm, Goldfinger notices Felix and Johnny poking around, and now thinks having Bond was a good move. Let's get him out of the cell and parade him around like he's doing just fine. Go change into something sexy so it's believable.
Go change into something sexy.
That's what he tells her.
I know.
Like, go change to something more comfortable, but he's basically like, you know, like, they're not going to believe Bond's okay if you're not, like, lounging in something that shows your tits off.
Right.
Cut to Bond back in the stone cell with 5 minions armed and on guard in the cell.
The door's open this time, too. No hiding behind the door.
Kitch retrieves Bond. Out in front of Felix, Bond is offered a mint julep. Bond know-it-alls by pointing out that Goldfinger can't get away with very much gold before the army shows up. And Goldfinger retorts, who said anything about removing it?
And this is where his very clever, genius plan comes into motion. Gotta say, it's not a bad plan.
Not a bad plan, indeed. Bond works out that the Mr. Ling has given him a cobalt and iodine dirty bomb, which he just knows off the top of his head, by the way. It's a great.
Right, yeah.
And if he explodes it in Nox, then the gold there will be irradiated for 57 years. 58, to be exact, Goldfinger corrects.
Yeah, he studied it because, he's planning on cornering the market.
It's inspired, Bond says. China gets chaos in the West, and the value of Goldfinger's gold skyrockets at least 10 times. Oric is beside himself with the transparent flattery. Oddjob pulls up, and Goldfinger excuses himself. Forgive me, Mr. Bond, I must separate my gold from the late Mr. Solo. And this was after threatening Bond wouldn't survive the next morning's operations.
Right.
Damn.
Damn.
I have to remove my gold, separate my gold from the late Mr. Solo. That's fucked up.
That is fucked up. I mean, they didn't even bother to take the gold out of the car. I mean, Oddjob honestly could have taken it out of the trunk, to be honest and fair. They didn't have to, like, just immediately crane the car away. It seems like a lot of extra work.
But then they wouldn't have been able to say that one.
Right.
As you said, Bond says, he had a pressing engagement.
That was all right. That one was all right.
That one just made you chuckle on stream.
It was all right. That one was okay. He had a pressing engagement. I did chuckle about that one.
Goldfinger has Pussy entertain Bond, cleavage out. No gold knuckles. Off duty, she says. I'm completely defenseless. So am I.
Yeah, this whole scene kind of bothered me a little bit. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it when we get to the end of it. Felix sees Bond go into the barn with Pussy and decides Bond is in full control and goes to get some Z's at the motel. James tries to charm Pussy, who pushes back with some great repartee and entendre. She flips him onto the straw. He trips her. They both grapple, and Bond flips her onto straw.
No, Bond throws her onto straw. He threw that chick across the barn.
Then he jumps on top of her as she desperately tries to keep him off for a good bit. But it's okay, because she gives in. See, boys, if she says no, it means you just have to try harder to get a yes.
This was probably the most rapey James Bond scene I can remember.
That was pure rape.
That was rape. That was absolute.
It was pure rape. The way she was, like, she did not want it to happen.
Yeah, that was absolutely rape.
I think women back then just understood that, like, once it got to a certain point, you just had to sit back and take it, or you were going to probably get killed, too.
That's awful, Matthew. That's awful. But no, seriously, rape. Like...
but no, seriously, it was rape. Bond's dick being magical. She's now on his side, of course, immediately.
Right.
Spoiler,
right.
I guess, by the way.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
But I don't know how we wouldn't see any other outcome happening now.
Right. In real life, if he had raped that girl, Goldfinger would have had him killed. I'm just sorry. That's just how that would have went down.
Now she loves me.
Now she
you raped me. I love you.
Right. Yeah.
People love Pussy more, probably for her name, but this is a worse version of Romanoff to me. The love flip and the helpful ally, but never is developed, and the flip isn't earned or believable. It's instant and rapey is what I have in my notes.
It is.
This is just what you're saying.
Right, yeah. I like Tatiana Romanoff a little bit more.
I do too, honestly.
I mean, Pussy Galore was a bigger character.
Yeah, she's doe-eyed and she's not as strong, and Pussy Galore is larger than life, but she's also unearned.
Yeah.
They just shoved her in too late.
Yeah, too late, no setup.
She kind of helps by switching the gas canisters, but Romanoff stole the Lecter and literally saved his actual life by jumping on a woman about to shoot him, and then killing her herself.
Right.
Pussy Galore has the attitude, she talks the talk better.
Yes.
She stands firm, she's not doe-eyed, but walking the walk, she does far less, in my opinion.
I agree with you. She does do far less.
Pussy's pilot girls spray fake gas on the soldiers. Now let in on the plan by Bond and Pussy, they all feign unconsciousness.
Horribly.
Dude, it's so funny, and and they get away with it because even in the universe, they're characters who are faking unconsciousness, but they take their time laying down.
Oh man, horribly laying down. Nobody just falls over. I noticed that. Of all of those GIs, and I gotta assume those
There's
extras.
There's a couple.
Oh, were there? I didn't see any. I gotta assume all those extras are real life GIs on Fort Knox.
For every enthusiastic dude, there was like 10 more who were like,
I'm gonna put my hands out. I'm gonna lay down.
I'm gonna lay down. I'm gonna lower my head real soft.
Even the dude that was up on the parade stage, he rolls to the edge, but then still falls onto the stage.
They all feign unconsciousness, allowing Goldfinger to suspect nothing awry and come on in, baby. The pilots report their part done, and Kish, dressed as an American soldier, leads the goons in with army vehicles and uniforms. The convoy goes through the town and up to the gates of Fort Knox, where we see Felix and Johnny hanging out the side of their car. An army man in real life, Rushan, took Adam to Fort Knox to see what it looked like. And Rushan got his name attached to the side of one of these buildings in the base with the new rank of general.
Oh, nice.
That's a nice thanks.
Nice. That is a nice thanks. I did my basic training at Fort Knox. I know exactly where that is. They didn't have enough fences. That's real shit. Real shit. They didn't have enough fences. One fence, there's more than one fence around Fort Knox. Just to let you guys know.
That laser from earlier actually comes back also, and they use it to cut their way into Fort Knox. Goldfinger choppers in, and Mr. Ling activates the bomb. The timer starts ticking at 360 seconds. That's 6 minutes. The timer's going really fast, too. These aren't actual seconds. But I'll be nice, and I'll count that as 6 actual minutes, so we'll check in on that later.
Right.
Meanwhile, the soldiers all pop up when the bomb shows up on the scanners, and everyone gets ready for a showdown.
I like the future sound on the timer that they put in the movie. I thought that was so funny. Future noises from back in the day were just weird.
Broccoli wanted the climax to happen inside the building instead of outside, but no one knew what the inside looked like. So Peter Lamont made a realistic blueprint based off the Bank of England, and Broccoli was like, fuck that, Cathedral of Gold, motherfuckers.
gonna be dripping in gold. It's Fort fucking Knox.
Ken Adam got a letter from the lady running Fort Knox at the time congratulating his imagination. It's a funny way of saying nope.
Yeah. That looks really cool, but that's not it.
Kish cuffs Bond to the bomb and then puts them on the vault's lift, sending them down to the bottom of the vault. Goodbye, Mr. Bond, Goldfinger says, leaving the vault. As he's talking to Ling, army soldiers start fighting his minions, alerting him to their presence.
And we get the battle sequence! I guess from the last movie on, there's a battle sequence in almost every Bond movie. There's got to be like 50 dudes fighting 50 dudes.
He runs to the vault lock and shuts Oddjob and Kish in with the bomb, then takes off his overcoat to show an American colonel's uniform.
How loyal is Oddjob?
Hella.
This dude, I wish I had friends like Oddjob.
But could caddy,
yeah. And wasn't mute either.
Nah, you could be mute. He pulls a golden revolver out of his man boobs and goes into the fray. Soldiers are entering. Goldfinger shoots Ling, partly to look like he's fighting them, partly to stop him from shouting, Mr. Goldfinger, over and over.
When I was a kid, I used to get after, seeing clips of this movie in spots, I always got it confused with the man with the golden gun.
He had a golden gun, yeah. Goldfinger then takes a machine gun and mows down the army men from behind. So back in the vault, Kish wants to disarm the bomb now that he's stuck in there with it. But Oddjob says, nah, mate, and tosses him over the ledge. Now, Mellinger actually went over a ledge with a 4-foot drop. And Bob fucking Simmons, of all people, dropped from 4 stories up as a 40-foot fall stunt performed by Bob Simmons. Wow.
Well, Bob Simmons had to reach for, last movie, way better. Fight car, I'm sure everybody was like, man, that dude last time, Bob, I don't know.
The way they shot it, it still looks like he jumped off the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
But, he did jump off a 40-foot fall.
He did.
Bond drags the bomb to Kish's body to get the cuff keys, releasing himself. Oddjob throws his hat a few times and misses, severing some electrical cables, shooting sparks. Bond throws a gold brick at Oddjob's chest, to no reaction at all but a smile.
First of all, you gotta be hella strong to throw a gold brick. Secondly, you gotta be hella strong to throw a gold brick with any effectiveness. Now you're throwing it against the man mountain? Come on.
Bond tries to tackle him and is thrown. He tries to oar him and it's snapped. Punches are met with smiles. Outside, the army is slowly winning. Inside, the fight is very one-sided. Bond throws Oddjob's hat at him, but misses, and it's lodged in some steel bars. As Oddjob retrieves it, Bond dives for the cut cables and touches them to the bars, electrifying them and Oddjob. When electrocuted here, Sakata burned his hands very severely on the fireworks. But as a wrestler, can't break kayfabe, since Guy never said cut, he just held on. A lot of real pain on screen in this movie. Accidental hardcore stunts.
Yeah, there's a lot of realism in everything that they used on this movie. All the equipment was real, except for the laser, which I just found out they tried to get a real one. They went hard practically. I gotta give Bob Simmons a little credit. They went hard practically on a lot of shit. So, hoorah.
People got accidentally hurt,
Yes.
Yeah. Alfie Joint, Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Harold Sakata.
Yeah.
The actors accidentally got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
To our pleasure. I also noticed that whether it's explosions, electrocutions, or gas, flash some purple lights.
Yes. The Oddjob fight was pretty dope, too.
It was alright. It was Bob Simmons. It was stiff. It was lame. But, the big thing about it is it wasn't just the punch affair. It was way more cat and mouse and Bond trying to get away because he knew he couldn't do the punch affair with it. And that's why it worked.
Yeah, that's why it worked.
Bond breaks open a nuclear bomb casing by hammering it with 2 gold bricks.
Smart!
I just wrote that as a line and left it at that. That's its own paragraph.
Yeah.
The army gets into the vault. Dude got squished by the door. You literally hear the squish. Great Foley work.
Great Foley work.
Bond gets the device fully open. He looks panicked. He has no idea what to do, and everything he does will be a blind Hail Mary that will probably not work. He even tries to just stop things from spinning by hand. That'll work.
Just grab the spinning thing.
Crab things.
Yeah, if I can make it stop moving, maybe yeah.
Bond's desperate. He's about to rip some wire, and a hand stops him and calmly flips a switch. The atomic specialist, played by Robert McLeod, has saved the day with 007 seconds left on the timer.
And that's funny, because all the times that I've watched this movie, except for this last time, I did not notice that the timer stopped on 007.
Are you serious?
I
Oh man, I've always cringed at that. I think that was my first cringe. I think I was like 4 years old and I was like...
That's because, like, it's a timer, so my brain, it doesn't read it as 007. It just reads it as 7 seconds, so the correlation never popped into my brain.
You're funny. Of all people, it's usually broccoli with the changes, but Saltzman changed the bomb being diffused with a less cringy 3 seconds left to 007. Now, one thing I noticed in a lot of, like, looking up these behind-the-scenes stuff is broccoli has crazy ideas.
Yes.
But they're usually, like, fun.
Fun.
You know, give me a Fort Knox Monastery of Gold.
Right, yeah.
You know? But Saltzman is cringy. He's like, yeah, it's got to be 700. All of Saltzman's ideas are so lame, honestly.
Well, yeah, they are. I will give you that. I don't think anything that we've seen Saltzman do, we've both agreed that we liked. Or either one of us agreed that we liked.
8.5 minutes, by the way. That's how long that generous 6-minute timer was to have 7 seconds left.
That's movie time.
What kept you? James asks him. Felix runs in. Are you okay, James? Where's your butler friend? He blew a fuse.
Oh, he blew a fuse. Ah!
That's better than shocking?
Yeah, actually, I like blew a fuse better than shocking. Yeah, I did. I did, to be honest. But because I know how electricity works, and physics is a big thing for me in movies. If I ever make a movie, you know it's going to be physically practical, at the very least, special effects aside.
Yeah.
Those bars weren't connected in any way.
No.
They went floor to ceiling, each and every one of them. That shouldn't have worked.
Crossfade to James, being driven in a convertible 1964 Lincoln Continental to a private plane to a special dinner with the President of the USA. As later exposits, with a very Douglas MacArthur-looking general flanking his right. Felix told the stewardess liquor for 3, just so he's stocked.
Yeah.
He's like, who are the other 2? Oh, there are no other 2.
James, just for you.
It's just for you, man. I wrote in my notes at this point, a lot of toy planes in this movie.
There are a lot of toy planes in this movie. The only real planes I think they showed from exterior were the stunt planes.
Or the ones on the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
Bond is relaxing as Goldfinger pops out with his gold-plated gun. Hard cut to a hangar with tied-up pilots and back to the fuselage. Bond jumps at the gun and they wrestle around a bit. This fight is stiff and a little silly compared to the last movie's example of what they did in a similar space.
Yeah.
But luckily it's quick and the gun goes off, shattering a window and causing rapid decompression. Goldfinger is blown out of the window. The plane dives, and Bond rushes to the cockpit.
I got serious 1984 David Lynch, Baron Harkonnen vibes when I saw this.
Quick cut to the hangar. The tied soldiers are discovered. This was unnecessary.
I don't even know why it was in there, actually. It's good.
I have no idea why we did that. Yeah. Cut that shit. We get it.
Right.
You know, people are tied up. He's not supposed to be there. He is. Woo.
Ooh.
Even just leaving the 1 second insert of them tied up, fine. I wouldn't have said shit, but
Right.
cutting back. Who cares if they were found? Trust me, the maid found them. They're cool. The plane is diving too steep, too fast. She can't pull out. You see them look at each other in the cockpit. Then, less than 3 seconds later, something is ejected from the plane on radar in front of Felix. The plane smashes into the ocean, exploding. Felix goes out searching for Bond in a helicopter. Now, I'm serious about this. They literally look at each other, and then it cuts back to the radar, and something's being ejected. Like, how the hell did y'all do that?
This isn't Pussy Galore's plane. I mean, we know it's a presidential plane, so we just have to assume there's some sort of ejection pod on the presidential plane.
But even still, unless it's from the cockpit, how did you immediately do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's one of those. We're gonna call it the prison door paradigm.
It's that no. What we're gonna call it is the rapid fire flare gun.
The rapid fire flare gun paradigm. There you go.
Yeah.
There's magic that happens somewhere in there, in between those frames.
Yeah. Exactly. Pussy waves for Felix's attention, but Bond pulls her down and says, "Oh, no, you don't. This is no time to be rescued." And they kiss passionately, and the camera pans up, and the song swells. Fade to credits, and James Bond will be back in Thunderball.
Thunderball! Just as a side note, I guess once you're raped once, it doesn't matter much after that.
Jesus Christ. So for the grade, I gave this one an A, an even A. I have 3 tiers of every grade, by the way. A+, A minus, for example.
Same.
From Russia with Love for me was an A+. It was exciting and fun for me, and it was so well made that it was hard to find complaints and jokes when I was writing the script. And Dr. No tried to be that and ended up silly on accident in every single scene. This is exactly what it's trying to be, and it's silly and it's fun, but it's also exciting and tense. And there's a few more flaws, than I'd really like. But all around, it's honestly a great movie. And I'm giving it a solid A.
A solid A. I am going to have to agree with you. I'm going to give Goldfinger a solid A because Goldfinger is probably the establishing Bond film, even though there was 2 previous and it's the end of a trilogy, as you like to put it. And after watching them all back to back like that, I mean, it is. They are obviously all well
It really
connected.
is, yeah.
So I'm going to give Goldfinger also an A for overall niceness. Because
that's what you gave from Russia with Love.
Yeah, I love Russia with Love.
That's what you gave them both.
Yeah, they're both good. They're both good movies. They both have their good things, and they both have their bad things. Goldfinger a few more than from Russia, but yeah, we'll give it a solid A.
The kill count here, Bond kills 9, and other people kill 68 for a total of 77, constantly upping it.
I'm telling you, man.
So let's move on to the scorecards and wrap this up. Yeah. On the pre-title, I actually put this one is so far the best. It's the best opening sequence, and what a shocking ride it was, actually.
Yeah, so far this is the best pre-title sequence, and it was hilarious. I gotta just say, the pre-title sequence to me was hilarious. Everything was just so
it was funny.
The seagull, the suit, the rope.
I liked the tense opening sequence of From Russia with Love, but I felt like this one was just a little bit more fun for me.
Yeah, it was definitely more fun. It was definitely more in line with what we're gonna get later.
I wrote what a shocking ride it was, as in, shocking for the pre-title.
Right. I will put this pre-title sequence ahead of the other 2 as well.
How about the title and the theme section? Which, remember, like the whole title sequence and the song are involved.
Right.
In this.
Yeah. So love the song lyrics, not so much. This pre-title sequence, as I was saying earlier, like the fact that it was done by the same guy who did the last pre-title sequence blows my mind because I love this pre-title sequence. I love it. This pre-title sequence. Love it.
I'm gonna give it to Shirley Bassey's Goldfinger on the songs, and just honestly, the title here for me, I was blown away. Like, he took something that I hated and he made it amazing. For the Moneypenny pickup line here was about the wedding ring. We'll look into that sometime. I was gonna say the interaction here was kind of blunted by M and not as charming or as in depth in the last movie. For me, the point does go to From Russia with Love, but it was better than No.
I liked it better than No. I actually liked it better than From Russia with Love. To me, it seemed like more, like I said, like witty co-worker banter. It seemed like these guys been friends for a long time.
More subdued.
Yeah, more subdued. Not Moneypenny wasn't as thirsty. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. She didn't seem as thirsty as she has been in the past. We're going all the way here. Goldfinger so far.
What about your Q gadgets for this movie?
It had the Aston Martin, winner.
Yeah. The DB5 is not only the car of this choice, it's got all the gadgets in it. And so the Q gadgets are going for this one. For the cars, do you choose the DB5 over the Bentley?
Yes. I mean, yes, the Bentley had a cool-ass car phone.
Set dressing.
He didn't drive it.
He
no
drove
machine
this
guns.
DB5.
Yeah, DB5, all the way.
All the way. The main ally. Felix is useless here, last place so far.
Felix is not only useless, but not the same man. So, yes, last place.
Last place.
Like, honestly, when we were talking about this before, I was like, is there a Bond ally in this movie? I mean, I suppose it's fucking Felix, but what the fuck does he do?
Eats chicken.
He's eating chicken. Like, no. I'm not even... Like, I would say this is the worst one, but I'm going to count this as no ally, because Felix didn't do shit. So, yes, I guess it would be the worst one. Wait, go ahead.
Villains. Goldfinger, for me, was the most memorable that we've actually had so far outside of Blofeld's lap, and the first supervillain of a Bond film. So Goldfinger is getting the top spot for me.
I would like to give it to Goldfinger.
But she can't.
I can't. He's not diabolical. He had a great plan, but he's not Blofeld is fucking diabolical.
That's fair.
I do like how big Goldfinger is in essence, like, and everything he did, everything's plated in gold, everything's like...
I'm not comparing Goldfinger to Blofeld yet. I mean, you had Blofeld as like your villain, and he was pulling the strings from Russia with Love, but I had Klebb and Kronstein as my villains from them. Saving for a revealed Blofeld for myself.
But no, I do like Goldfinger, and I'm gonna put him probably in the number 2 spot.
For the main hench, Odd Job, he's a fun but a gimmicky version of Red Grant, who for me was a more compelling bad guy.
You liked Red.
He was a more compelling bad guy to me. This was just a fun gimmicky version of that, in my opinion. Odd Job gets the middle spot for me, actually.
I like Odd Job.
Oh, I know you and everyone else. I know I'm on my own island on this one.
Yeah, I mean it'll probably change as we get better henchmen.
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
For right now, Odd Job's getting the top spot, and Red's solid number 2.
Well, at least he's better than Professor Dent.
Christ.
Bond Girl, Pussy Galore, middle spot. I've explained myself on this.
Yes, you have, and I am going to wholeheartedly agree. She gets the middle spot.
Tanya Romanov stole the Lecter and literally saved his life from being shot.
Yeah, she was a decent Bond girl who just wanted to be loved.
If she was more badass, we would never forget her.
If she was more badass, we would never forget her.
In attitude, right. Yeah, not in performance wise, she's way more badass. Right. She was doing the shit he should have been doing. One-liner. I went with shocking. This is actually my favorite one-liner in the series so far. It takes top spot of all.
Let's see.
Which is why I was laughing when you were like, I don't care.
I'm gonna go with maternal instincts.
I think I applied to her maternal instincts.
Yeah, when Felix asked about how he got pussy to switch sides. And he's like, I fucking coated them walls. Felix, how do you think?
You know, yeah, it's literally what he was saying, too.
It's literally what he was saying. I like that one. That was pretty funny.
Locations, and let me break it down for you again. We have Florida, Kentucky, Birminghamshire, Switzerland. And I'm going middle spot. Most of this was Pinewood or a few miles away with some B-roll of Miami and a little bit of Switzerland, but not even good locations like OHMSS will have.
Nah, I'm going to get, this might be third spot for locations for me.
Damn, I love it.
Because, the other 2 movies, they were there. They were in spots, and this one...
Yeah, this one they never were. I mean, we had blue screen for Conversation Spy.
Right.
Yeah.
The locations weren't as part of the movie as the other 2 movies.
Protracted attempt to kill Bond.
The whole movie, I guess? I mean...
No, come on. The table.
Well, yeah, the table, but the table is the iconic part, right?
I wrote the table, the bomb in the end. There's actually a few again. I guess I agreed with you in my notes.
Yeah.
But the laser table is probably the most iconic of all time, so
the
top
laser
spot
table is going to take the top spot because it's the fucking laser table.
Yeah, it's probably the most iconic of all time is what I wrote in my notes. Just agreeing with what you said earlier. The mission or the plot. Once again, I'll break this down for you also. Stop a gold smuggler from crashing the U.S. economy to boost his own shares in gold using a nuke.
The plot was awesome. It's simple, understandable, and smart. I like this plot better than Dr. No's contrived whatever the fuck Dr. No was trying to do.
God, right?
From Russia with Love, the plot was good. It's just flawed.
I feel like this one was way more flawed. From Russia with Love, for me, is a really good movie. It's really tense. It's really smart. I actually didn't. I'm sitting there trying to find complaints about it, and I couldn't.
Right. Well, yeah.
But it's a different movie.
It's a different movie.
It's you have to pay attention to it. It's you're almost not enjoying the ride as much as taking it in, so you can unpack it all later. Whereas this was way more of like the ride. When I was telling you, like after a week of watching this one, like when it first was done with watching Goldfinger, I was like, yeah, this was amazing. And then like a week later, I was like, yeah. Nah.
From Russia with Love was a drama. Goldfinger's an action flick. That's just the way
different.
Just the way those two break down.
There's one's a thriller and one is an action flick. I wrote, it's a lot simpler than the last movies, but that's okay. It was a fun ride. It still gets the middle spot for me, though. Stunts. Mostly good on accident, but at least Bob jumped from a 40-foot ledge. I'm giving the stunts the middle spot.
Middle spot. I agree. The stunts in From Russia with Love were way better.
All right, the score.
The score. Dope. That Goldfinger refrain throughout. Dope. Way jazzier, like from the first beat. Way jazzier.
I wrote, loved it, fit the movie like a glove, working the theme of the movie perfectly into it. Top spot.
Top spot.
How about the movie itself?
As much as I enjoyed From Russia with Love, I had more fun watching Goldfinger. I have to be honest about that.
Go for it. Be honest.
I know, I'm going to be honest.
Our lists are going to be very different by the end, honestly.
I'm going to give Goldfinger the top spot. Maybe it was a nostalgia factor, but I don't know. The movie's more fun.
I wrote middle of the three for me so far. I loved it. It was a blast and it was great, but From Russia with Love is great in a different kind of way that, for me, writing these had me way more excited and way more to say. But, as they say, Bond will return for Thunderball, and so will we. So until then,
I'm Chris Carter.
and I'm Agent Sedgwick.
Stay spying.